So basically, you're saying if you're creating movies for Hollywood, you're not taking down Hollywood.
I don't think you need to take down Hollywood.
Yeah.
Hollywood will take down itself. Aaron Wrench was with me, my production partner, and we were down in LA this last week. And both of us sat through some pretty grim meetings. And both of us left just saying like, wow, this is an enormous opportunity to try to put stuff out into the world that will stand out more than ever before.
Just by not being a social media mind.
Yeah. By trying to make real food for real people.
Met a ghost of a king on the road when I first fell. Fire burning to my knees I fell. Met a ghost of a king on the road.
Okay, what are we talking about, Brian?
Here we go. I wanted to start with, I've been trying to take my kids through a couple classics, and then I made the regrettable choice of showing them a movie I hadn't seen, The Never-Ending Story. So we're just going to tiptoe into The Never-Ending Story and then move on to
I'm not fresh on that at all. But that's
it was just really bad.
Yeah.
I just realized, this was back when, but I will say the one refreshing thing about it is just that the puppets were all real. Like there was nothing fake about it.
I mean, they were puppets.
Right.
But they were real puppets.
They had been made by somebody. Somebody was wearing them.
Yep.
And that
AI was not involved.
Man, and that's right now the reflex that I have is if it's real, I'm going to give it more of a pass. And if it's fake, it's just gross. Why are we doing it?
Yeah.
And then we caught up on Sandlot. We did some Sandlot.
How'd they like that one?
They did like Sandlot. Not as much as A Christmas Story.
Weird. Your kids are broken.
I don't, maybe they are. I think maybe I haven't done the lore of baseball enough. We just played baseball as an activity instead of,
well, I mean,
enchanted with baseball.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be enchanted with baseball. But it's funny. I mean, Christmas Story is got some really funny classic things in it that are pretty slapsticky and tongue on the pole and we'll shoot your eye out and all that kind of stuff. So I can see that.
The bullies, the dogs running in the kitchen, eating all the food, that kind of thing.
Yeah. No, I think I can see it.
But the arc of...
if you're meeting both for the first time as a little boy, I can see why Christmas Story would be.
Right.
When did you watch it?
When did I watch Sandlot?
No, Christmas Story. Like it's June, Brian.
Oh, I know. No, I was, to me, they seem like very similar movies.
They are, but why are you watching Christmas Story in June?
No. I'm just comparing it. Those movies seem so similar to me that I almost could have been the same. So I was casting back. I was like, which one did you like better, boys?
Okay.
Christmas
so
Story.
They did watch it in the Christmas
They watched, we didn't watch it recently, no.
Okay.
We're not just ad-libbing Christmas Story in June.
Okay.
And then Batman. We also did Batman Begins.
Batman Begins.
Yeah. Your Christopher Nolan. I don't know if you've done your Christopher Nolan take recently either, but
Batman Begins. Oh.
And I have to say, it seems to have held up pretty well. I'm just doing my best to get Nate going. Followed up by Lego Batman. So those
Much
two,
better.
Those are the two.
Lego Batman's amazing.
But Batman Begins feels like it was the time when they still took the superhero movies a little more, I don't know, you could have some genuine, they tried to have good guys and bad guys and run through it.
How seriously did they take it?
Maybe too seriously.
So seriously.
But then we got Thor on the other side, so it feels like we're
You've just been barraging your sons.
Right.
Have you watched Iron Man?
Yeah, we watched Iron Man first. Yeah, that was the first one we did.
Okay, good.
So we liked Iron Man, but
if you think about those, Batman Begins versus Iron Man. I mean, Batman Begins is not a bad piece of cinema. But Iron Man has more humor and I'd say a lack of self-seriousness, where it just kind of, it has a playful thing going. So if you were to make, hey, here's my pitch. Let's make Indiana Jones, but deadly serious.
Oh, okay. That's a terrible idea.
That's right.
Okay.
But
so you're saying that's
you know
what
what?
Batman
Let's bring in one of the best directors and some of the best cinematographers. Let's do it deadly serious, and let's make sure it is artistically at the top shelf. That's kind of how I view the Nolan Batman movies. Let's take something that would be better off with a little more humor, quirk, and laughter around the edges inside of an action frame, and let's just be deeply earnest and deeply serious and deeply moody about it. And that's why I actually think the Joker was so potent culturally. Why the Joker jumped out and, popped out so much was because he was such a counterpoint to the film itself and to the protagonist and everything that was going on there. And Heath Ledger's performance was, of course, crazy and everything else. But
right.
As far as you take Indiana Jones,
the film almost made itself ridiculous by being so serious. Like it set itself up to be subverted.
Yeah.
It was asking for
it's
something.
Yes. And so then you have the Joker is this internal subversion of this really, really deeply serious, and so why so serious? That why so serious
resonated with a lot of people.
Yeah. It just really does. Now I could give credit to Nolan for that and say he did that on purpose. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe he's that much of a genius, but
we do like geniuses.
Genie. We like genie. I use that tag, why so serious, at the front of my basketball warm-up mix for my team. Just in terms of like the very first thing that would happen in the music is why so serious, and the music starts and all the kids come out and warm up. And a big part of that is just because it's really easy, especially in varsity athletics and varsity competition, especially for boys who have worked really hard for something. You want them to have worked hard for it and strive. But coming out with a why so serious? Why are we taking ourselves incredibly seriously right now?
Gotcha.
It's like, no, we had the candy stripe warm up pants. We're out here to have fun. I want to be loose. Like let's really
a bit of a show, I guess.
Yeah, let's go hard. Let's go really, really hard and enjoy this. But if we come out and we're tight and we're taking it super seriously, that's just a problem. So anyway, as far as the Batman Begins, deeply earnest, deeply serious. And I think that it could really stand with some humor, some lack of self-seriousness.
Gotcha. Because it's a comic.
Yeah.
It's a comic. So some of the pow blast
It's
stuff
a dude who wears a bat suit without superpowers.
Right.
So if you have a billionaire, let's say we all found out that Zuckerberg had been dressing up as a bat and sneaking into people's houses.
Nate, you're ruining this. I kind of like this movie.
No, so we find that out and we're like, oh, but you know why he dresses up as a bat? It's because he's terrified of bats because he fell down a hole. And his young
Zuckerberg,
adulthood.
It would be a lizard, I think. But
yeah, exactly. Why is he a lizard man?
Yeah,
he fell down a hole full of lizards in his young adulthood.
Okay, that's pretty fun.
And then we're gonna take this seriously. That's fun. I mean, I like the mechanics of it. It's funny. But anyway, the deeply moody, deeply serious, anyway.
Well,
I have a problem with Nolan's self-seriousness.
Well, I guess one point where it really did break, right at the very beginning, is right after he has that traumatizing bat experience,
Yeah.
and then they go to the opera, and his parents took him to an opera with a ton of bats. And it's like the people, the people are spiraling in bats, and that's what freaks him out, and he has to get out of the theater. And that, I guess you're right. It's like Nolan thinking about how do we make it so earnest. And it's like, well, parents
trauma.
Trauma. They just wouldn't take their 6-year-old
I need
movie.
I need my multi billionaire heir to an international arms empire to have bat trauma. And so cinematically, Nolan knows what he's doing. He absolutely does. He's a technician. He's good at what he does. But when it comes to story, I just like, dude, put in some laughter, some joy. Like let's get it in there. And I think that trilogy, it's really Heath Ledger's character that finally throws a little balance on it. But even then, it's incredibly imbalanced because this laughing evil, I mean, he's basically omniscient. He's everywhere. He has the ability to wire entire hospitals with, C4 in 27 seconds. It's just
as one does.
It's still a comic book. It's still very comic book, but he took it from a comic book, which is a very heightened form and playful and childish, and he took it into like deep melodrama. And of course, I think that he's signaling at the beginning of Batman Begins, he is signaling the fact that he's doing it as an opera. So he is actually going like deep mood Like he's going operatic. He's
Gotcha.
going melodramatic. I'm going to take you into this opera. This is a 3-picture bat opera.
Mm-hmm.
And he tells you that very clearly at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
In other words, like he takes it just very, very seriously in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
And something that I think is maybe not best served that way. But he does nail it in terms of, mood and guys who want to take themselves seriously while wearing bat capes. So guys who would like to cosplay as, even in their imaginations, as this guy without it needing to be jokey.
Mm.
Like I get to take myself really seriously. I've got this amazing motorcycle and I've got Hans Zimmer and I've got this crazy score and, I got to go fast and I'm in my feels, deeply in my feels as this man of mystery billionaire. Mm. Anyway.
So it's wish fulfillment for guys my age.
Yeah. Yes. And I would say,
level.
obviously, Nolan knows how to make money. I mean, like
totally.
This franchise made oodles and oodles of money. It's got some pretty cool stuff in it.
Yeah.
It's got some pretty great sequences. The philosophy is broken, and that's where he feels at his strongest. He feels very profound. Mm. So Nolan, the philosopher thinker, is like a guy who just needs to watch his hand move, and he thinks his point was better if his hand moves right. It's
So in the first movie, the whole plot of like the guys who watch for anything to become too debauched and they destroy the city, like the Ra's al Ghul villain, like that's kind of insane.
Yeah.
As far as a villain motivation,
it's a little odd.
I guess he doubles it up with the Joker, but the Joker at least just makes sense. He's a psychotic villain.
He's a psychotic, omniscient.
Okay, yeah,
villain.
Sure. So I guess he doesn't really make that much sense. He's too good.
The performance is great.
Yeah,
he's extremely good at his job. He does not believe in the basic, goodness of man. And Batman, this guy in the outfit who drives around at night, believes in the basic goodness of man, the fundamental goodness of man.
Yeah,
that's pretty wild.
Okay, sure.
So
sure.
Anyway.
So that philosophical dynamic's pretty off as well. Both of them should be able to
because they need me to run.
That was terrible at the end of movie 2. Okay.
The best thing, the singular best thing about the Batman trilogy, the Nolan Batman trilogy, which I don't want all the film nuts, all the little film buffs, like climbing all in the comments telling me that it's actually cinematic genius and yada yada yada. I know Nolan is good at what he does. He is in that 3-tiered value that I've talked about before, where you have technical value as one of them. His technical value is always off the charts.
Yeah.
When we get down like the objective value of what's being said, what's actually being communicated, is it bad to watch these and have fun with these? No, it's not. It's not like a big terrible thing. But
there's not a lot to
But
consume.
if you don't have the ability to laugh at the really like just the really big clanks philosophically, if you don't have the ability to see the weirdness and the funniness of taking this so seriously, then get over yourselves. Nolan can really craft a great scene. Nolan's a great filmmaker, technically speaking. He is not a great thinker. He is not a great philosopher. He is not somebody who understands the way the world actually works. So in terms of God's architecture, and
because if there's one thing Batman and they could unite around, is the idea that humans are wicked. The Joker and Batman could agree on that one.
Yeah.
That one
anyway,
point.
But what I was saying is the singular best thing that this trilogy got us was Lego Batman.
Okay. Will Arnett's Lego Batman.
We never ever would have had Lego Batman if not for the seriousness, the absolute over self-seriousness of this trilogy. And because of that, which worked, obviously made a ton of money.
Right.
We get to have the counterpoint come in the form of Lego Batman.
Where he sings his own soundtrack.
Yeah, it's so amazing. Yeah. And that is phenomenal. And so that Will Arnett Batman character as the payoff of Christopher Nolan's Batman is totally worth it. I'm here for the whole journey. If we needed the 3 Nolan Batmans to get to Lego Batman, that's fine.
To make that swap.
That was worth it.
Well, I think, but then we also had to get Affleck and also Rob Pattinson and 2 other extremely self-serious Batmans.
Yes.
And those I didn't watch the Pattinson one, but
Neither did I.
And I don't remember.
I've not
the
watched the
Affleck
Joker movies. I've not done that either.
one. Okay.
So,
right, yeah, the Joaquin Phoenix.
So, anyway, Lego Batman is where I have closed the canon for myself. And it'll take quite a bit to get me to watch something other than that. Haven't seen that.
Do you not think that our superhero movies got way too silly though, or do you say that's what it is? They're silly things, so it's okay to be silly.
So, they are, of course, they're silly, but
the amount of bathos is not too much for you yet.
I mean, I can't remember the last time I went to one in the theater.
Okay, so it is.
So it's been a long time. It was probably Avengers 1.
Yeah.
But when I checked out.
Right. Okay.
I mean, so I have occasionally, upon very special petition or people really, really wanting me to, dipped back in and watched different pieces. Wonder Woman, I watched.
Oh, right.
So there's
Gal.
these. Yeah, but I've not been a consumer of this ecosystem, across, I saw Winter Soldier, I saw some Captain America, there's things I've seen along the way, but this was just not an experiment that I was going to opt into completely. So yeah, I've been curious how long it would last before they've just overexploited and killed it dead.
Yeah.
But people love superhero stories because they are fundamentally messianic and they are fundamentally Christian. Mm-hmm. So they're fundamentally Christian in architecture. And that's great, but they've really jumped the shark. I mean, they've gone all over the place. And I'm really curious what the reset will be. So the reset, when you're doing these kinds of things, when people have been having lots and lots and lots of one flavor and you give them another counterpoint flavor, it can really resonate. This happened with how jokey and how overly goofy the Batman franchise got, and then Christopher Nolan rebirthed it with this really self-serious trilogy, which was not what it had been, back to the 60s and, pow, bang, and he did something super serious. He counterpointed the past and people were there for it. And then Lego Batman counterpointed him.
Right.
So anyway, with Avengers, with Marvel, with all this stuff, I'm just kind of waiting for it all to go away.
Yeah.
Just waiting, please, can we start over? Can we please just figure out something else?
So you're not working on your own superhero movie right now? I guess.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
I guess the superhero specifically, you could do the blockbuster, or everything is in some sense got a superhero aspect to it. A lot of stories.
Well, because it's fundamentally, the architecture is just messianic.
Right.
And it's
the person. Yeah.
The architecture is very, very.
One man comes for.
It's been on repeat historically.
Right.
Whether we're talking about Cyrus the Great, whether we're talking about Samson, whether we're talking about any of the judges, David the king, even Saul before him. It's something we've seen over and over and over again.
A special
Moses,
ability of sorts allows
Moses, Joshua.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. We have it. It's baked in all the way leading up to the God-man and Christmas and the incarnation and overthrowing the principalities and powers. We have that baked into the architecture of history itself. So when we steal that architecture and we use it, it's there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with the Iron Man arc. There's nothing wrong with any of these basic outsider comes in sacrificially with more power. With greater power comes greater responsibility. It's great power comes great responsibility. You are the sacrifice. You exist for the purpose of the weaker people. That architecture is just, it's going to resonate. It's going to work. How far it can go in silliness and degrees of self-importance before we need to reset and do something else, I don't know. It's lasted longer than I thought it would.
My entire adult life.
Yeah, it's lasted a lot longer than I thought it would.
And even it seems that none of the counterpoint ones of sort of debauched heroes.
Oh yeah,
those don't even seem to be working that well either. It feels
Deadpool, Wolverine.
Oh, I guess so.
Was huge. Deadpool was big, and I think that the reason why Deadpool was big was for the exact same reason why Lego Batman was big, is because if you are deeply in need of mocking, you've reached a point where you must be mocked. The whole system, the whole ecosystem needs this flippancy. needs to be disrespected for the audience to stick around, then including that internal to the system is kind of genius.
Some Walter Kern watching politics type stuff.
Yeah,
right?
so
you're just like, wait
inside
a minute.
the system,
It's
even
the controlled
have,
opposition.
Yeah,
we have
exactly.
So no matter what happens,
And the release valve for everybody thinking this is all so stupid, this is so ridiculous.
Is
this
the
is
same system that's still creating.
And now inside that system, we have a flavor for you.
Yeah,
it's the ice cream for people who hate ice cream.
Okay.
We've got that too, and we're going to make money off of you also, and we're going to release all this pressure, make everybody laugh at what an absolute clown show this is. And then we're going to
siphon that off into
do
more
it again.
profits.
Then we're going to do it again. And then we're going to do Deadpool and Wolverine. And it's mostly going to be one prolonged gay joke. Because the joke of like basically the underlying homoeroticism that's always been there in comic books.
Yeah.
And it's that liberals love to point out and conservatives love to deny, but it's actually there. And
is it actually there? I don't know. I'm assuming I'm going off of Cavalier and Clay here, so I'm assuming that.
It's there.
Yeah.
But like, why are these dudes always in tights? And it's everything's.
It's basically Greek.
Yeah, we're just one degree away. Yeah,
spandex Greeks.
We're 1 degree away from nudity. We're just right here with these amazing builds. We go to Deadpool, Wolverine, and it's just gay jokes, and like. Releases that too. Like we've mocked it this way, and we can make another $1 billion and just another $1 billion. So let's just say the people running this particular ship have not been unintelligent. They've done a pretty good job, with the one big like failure being the MCU. So the MCU of like, let's just pivot everything into females now and go away. What that does is it angers the whole population such that when you come back around, everybody's like, yay, a return to the glory days, the return to the male protagonist.
Right. And women in spandex.
And everybody keeps on swiping the credit cards, and everybody keeps on paying. And it's like this conversation that is the superhero ecosystem of storytelling has just taken up all the oxygen everywhere. It's kind of amazing, actually. So
so much money, effort, everything.
Anyway, hats off.
Well done.
Well done. Way to just devour
buy because they need us to buy
everything.
Yeah.
It's like they strip mined just everything.
I've been seeing a lot of clips lately of trawlers going over the ocean floor with the dragging nets, and it does feel like that's.
Are we talking about the Chinese ones, or are we talking about
the Chinese ones that just level everything flat?
Yeah.
That's what's happening. That's what Marvel is. All of our
The
pocketbooks.
Chinese trawlers just decimating the global fish population. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, is it possible to be inside the system and create inside that system and do something that damages it, or do you all just kind of feed into it?
No, feed into it.
I guess that's part of my question. Is
doesn't mean that you shouldn't. Just
be aware you're not
really subverting it.
So basically, you're saying if you're creating movies for Hollywood, you're not taking down Hollywood.
No.
So what's the better way to take down Hollywood?
I don't think you need to take down Hollywood.
Yeah.
I'm not sure why anybody would be obsessed with taking down Hollywood. Hollywood will take down itself. But we obviously the trope we have here is stories are soul food. So stories as food. Mm-hmm. If you say, man, I want to take down McDonald's, that's very different than, man, I want to make the best burger that there is. Mm. And so if you are a Christian storyteller and you're focused on trying to make the best burger you can, you're trying to really put the best meal on the plate that you're able to do, you're handing that to somebody to feed them, to give them something great, nourishing, strengthening, inspiring. You're sliding that across the table to them, not to destroy something else. If you're focused on destruction, you're not going to actually really
focus on creation.
Yeah, you got to focus on creation. And if you look at what they're serving and you realize how everybody's deficient, like they're all malnourished because they're only getting certain things, that can affect what kind of thing you're trying to serve. But trying to destroy Hollywood is weird. Mm. It's like somebody's like, I want to destroy banking. It's like, really? Like how? You want to be a banker and you want to do it really well? then say, great, start a local bank, like raise the money. And I want to operate a local bank on Christian principles. And this is what I want to do. Perfect. Go do that. But don't be obsessed with destroying this thing. What I find is most people who say they want to destroy Hollywood, they wouldn't even say that. They want to go minister to Hollywood. They want to go influence Hollywood. They want to go be inside Hollywood and accepted inside of Hollywood. And they want to go to the top of Hollywood.
They want to be in control of Hollywood.
Yeah, if you want to be Joseph in Egypt, you want to be Daniel in Babylon, great. That's perfect. I'm all for that.
Both those guys started by being really, really good at what they did.
And also, both ended up being really deeply punished for things they didn't do, or things in Daniel's case that he did do but was not evil. So you want to go be Daniel, be ready for the lion's den. Like, just expect that. That's part of the arc. You want to be Joseph, you're going to go to jail first. This is... Be really, really, really good, which is what Joseph was, and expect somebody to see that value, and cream will rise, and he was excellent in his work will stand before kings. But meanwhile, you're going to get Me Too'd and put in jail.
For a long time.
Yeah. And so they used jail is pre-cancel culture and everything else. They have director jail. They've got I'm in jail. I'm in Paramount jail. I'm in Warner Brothers jail. There's different people who are in jail with different studios, and they'll laugh about it.
What does that mean?
You're just basically, it means exactly what you think it means in terms of you're locked up. You can't do anything there.
Gotcha.
So I'm in this jail, and director jail, writer jail. Those are the worst because that's just cancellation. That's just industry.
You can't do a job.
It's industry wide.
Okay.
If you're in Paramount jail, you're just off the table with Paramount, Disney jail, and so on. So there's like studio specific jails, and then there's industry jail. And people talk that way as long as I've been working on the left coast at all. That's one of the ways they talk about it. Cancellation showed up later. And
it was just a new word for jail.
And it became culture wide.
Right.
So, but you could be in jail for a lot of reasons. You could be in jail because you're an absolute liability. You could be in director jail because you went way over budget and you're a total diva because you're impossible to work with. There's a lot of ways people got into jail. It wasn't like, oh, he abused an assistant. For a long time, that wouldn't get you in jail. That would be fine in Hollywood. The things that would get you in jail were pissing off an executive, being impossible to work with, being an auteur to the financial detriment of the project. Things like that.
That's funny.
Now it's more culture virtue as well. But anyway, as far as that goes, when people say, I want to go, when we had a whole episode about, so you want to be a director, people want to be directors.
Yeah.
Somebody says, I want to go influence Hollywood. They don't usually say destroy Hollywood. I want to go influence Hollywood.
Yeah.
How? Why?
Right.
It better be a pretty clear call. And if it is a pretty clear call, then you better keep the faith through a really long journey through the dungeons in Hollywood all the way up until what happens. You're Joseph. You're sitting here, a Christian in charge of something, and you green light the mission and Chariots of Fire, and then you're removed. So, true story.
Is that what happened?
Basically, yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you have, there's a lot more to it than that, but basically, yes. So
hopefully that was worth it.
Yeah, I think so. Somebody got Chariots of Fire out.
Yeah.
The mission's not been quite as lasting.
Yeah, I don't think I'm familiar.
Yeah, a lot of people aren't for a lot of reasons. Anyway, I don't know. People want to destroy something. I would say just focus on getting really, really good at cooking, really, really good at feeding people, and focus on that.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Destroy feels like a marketing angle and much less of an actual plan of action.
Yeah.
It's like, what do you mean? You want there to be no more theatrical releases? You want people not to watch movies?
Yeah, what exactly are you destroying?
Yeah. Do you just want people not to abuse assistants for free anymore? That seems like a reasonable goal, but also
yeah. So I want to do it right. I want to set up my own restaurant outside the system and do this right. That's great. That's awesome. I know a lot of people who are working at those things, and I'm working at those things. Like Canon Plus is working at that project. We're not trying to destroy Hollywood. We're trying to create an outlet that will feed people differently.
Right.
But we are narrative creatures, and we need to consume narrative content. It's actually by design. It's something that we're designed to do. And so I think that it's a great and noble calling to start trying to cook for people, to try to like make food for people. But if you have the focus of, I'm trying to feed imaginations, I'm trying to feed young souls, I'm trying to feed families, good narrative content, that's a much more powerful motivator and a much better crusade to be on than I want to just take pot shots over there.
Yeah, I think for a while there, the response to many people was, I just wish people didn't want entertainment. Like our culture just,
why do we
so
need to be so
entertainment heavy.
Yeah.
Why do we need entertainment? You should just, I don't know, do math. It was a very alt education style of things. It was like, hey, over there, people like entertainment. Here, we, I don't know, only read books, I guess.
Yeah.
Arbitrary form of entertainment. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. How do you see the whole story of our current America's entertainment going? Do you think we can? Is the possibility?
Oh boy!
I mean,
you want something really grim, Brian? Do you want to end on something really, really grim?
Yeah, we're ready for some black.
The best thing anybody can do is limit their social media intake.
Okay.
I mean, that's just it. The atrophy of the American mind is, I mean, picking up speed.
So fast.
It's really bad. So at this point, I was told my last little trip in LA, one of the things I was told is like, hey, so in Netflix shows, every time a character comes on screen, we need them to say who they are and what they do. They have to repeat it because we need to help a distracted population. But we also need shows that can be consumed in the background while people are doom scrolling because they can't stop doom scrolling Instagram. And so they have to be able to follow a narrative while also swiping and missing gaps. So being told that inside the industry of like, hey, we really need content that can be consumed in the background behind a doom scroll. That's grim. That's really, really.
I mean, that sounds like Hollywood killing itself right there.
Yeah, but that's the gram TikTok.
Yeah,
like people are just.
You talk about it's like the strangler fig, just slowly sucking the life out of the actual.
Yep, the strangler fig.
Yeah.
Worse, let's go with aliens laying an egg down your throat. So the strangler fig is this parasitic tree. It's not really a tree, but it swallows a tree. Like it eats its whole structure, kills the tree off inside of it, and then it's what remains. So if you think about Hollywood doesn't care about your little Christian family. They don't care about your little Christian community. They are trying to reach your average, just in North America, just average public schooled person who doesn't really know why they're here or what they're doing and is just plugged into the matrix via social media. And so that content is the long form content is just devolving like incredibly and rapidly because the minds and the attention index of the individual consumers are devolving rapidly. So the ability that people have to pay attention is just dropping through the floor. And to consume long form narrative is just dropping. That we're all turning into the Wall-E people, where we just don't have bone density and we're in our little chairs. We can't walk and we just have our Slurpees. But we're doing that to our brains. And so people are doing it to their imaginations, to their memories, like memories plummeting, ability to communicate plummeting. People think now that if I have AI write an email for me and they send the email to somebody else, they think we communicated. It's like, no, we didn't communicate. You told an app something. The app told me something. I now have received an email from a freaking app. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, I don't know why you chose this word or this flourish or this structure. I can't read into your mood. I can't figure out your tone. I can't pick up any single human piece of this relational dynamic in conversation when we're communicating. Like tone of voice, body language, everything is so critical. And in written communication, we're so bad at it. You think about how often people misread text messages and they project tone and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Now make that so much worse. This is so much worse.
A slushy created of all human words.
Yeah. And so we're not even communicated. We don't even have two people who really communicated at all. We have a robot that created a word salad.
Cherry picking out
that
of
just
the
word saladed something that does not reflect the actual position or mood, emotional mood of the sender. And so when I receive something, it's not telling me anything. Like, it just doesn't tell me anything about...
Yeah, you have to do some sort of weird detective work to try to figure out what prompt could have generated this particular, and that's impossible. It's just, it's...
So, if you just call the person and be like, hey, so saw your email. And I have many times now done this, just called somebody and said, hey, I saw that you emailed me. I haven't read it. I'm not reading that. Fill me in. And then we have a conversation, and the struggle that people have, what was it? What was that about? I'm trying to remember everything that mattered. And it's like, they don't even remember. And it's really quite phenomenal.
Yeah.
So I think this is, in my world, this is actually minimal. I think in corporate world, this is going bonkers.
Yeah.
So because people can't spell. This is like Grammarly on steroids, where they're like, I can't spell, I can't really express myself, so I've got my robot. My robot does it.
Well,
there's no real human exchange that happens.
Right. I've heard friends who have functionally trying to make robots, they're developers who are connecting different portals to each other, and then turns out nobody knows what they're doing. You have ignorance on both sides of a situation, and you're expecting something productive to happen. I also heard a great story of someone that tangentially related to, who was talking about how they had a great conversation with ChatGPT about the book they just read for an 1.5-hour drive. That was what they did for entertainment on, and it's that sort of situation that makes you just think what you said is probably true. The black pill Nate may be correct that cognitive decline is, well, we're being stranglered.
So my friend Ben Greenfield, hilariously, I grew up with Ben. He's a big biohacker name now, and he told me that one of the most popular features in his network is the ability to call an AI version of him to get advice. And he's like, it's pretty weird, but he's done so many podcasts and written so many books and everything. So there's a trove of
content for it to mine.
There's a trove of his content, and it does it in his voice. And so people call.
That gives me the heebie-jeebies.
But here's the thing that made me happy about it is he said that you can do a conspiracy theory version. And it's like you can, like, there are AI bots where you can get a conspiracy theory version. Wherever you're getting map directions, it makes crap up and just gives you wild conspiracy theories about the stuff you're driving by. And I was like, okay, that's funny. that's
what you said, right? We're ripe for counterpoint.
Yeah. Well, he's told me that he was driving his wife to it. They were going on a date, and so he called his AI self and asked for advice on how to romance his wife in the car. And
we're so
he was just having meta comedy moments. But yeah, it's crazy.
I mean, you've said it before, but there are the people who are now trying to do the whole Ouija board approach to AI and getting very good results. Almost as if there were something out there that might be interested in talking.
Yes. How do we give a voice? How do we give a voice to the voiceless?
Yeah.
It's terrible. AI is something that we will find great uses for, and also we will find enormous abuses for.
Yeah.
And we're racing towards a lot of the abuses a lot more quickly than we're finding the uses.
If you'd like to be a husk, you can use AI.
Yeah, I honestly, if it does anything, it's going to push me towards more Luddite behavior, which I think is a net positive in my own life.
I think so.
So I'm just kind of like...
It made me realize that we still have Alexa to play music on, and I need to stop that.
Yeah, it's like, stop. I also really like the idea of needing to go choose your music, find your music, play your music, like having that kind of
Right.
power, autonomy of choice, as opposed to just being a perpetual consumer of the algorithm.
I mean, how close are we all to every time you sit down, we're already fed the movie that we should watch? I mean, we're all there. I watched Fountain of Youth because Amazon shoved it in my face. Most of it, I should say. Like, did you watch that one yet?
No.
We didn't make it. We didn't make it all the way through, but it's got Krasinski's face on it. It's supposed to be Indiana Jones, and it just makes you feel like it might have been.
I showed it to my kid. I was like, "Hey, look at this," and they were just collectively like, "Blarg, no." Yeah, and I'll say this: there's so many ways in which AI is going to rot us out.
And you're saying social media is designed to be the vehicle for that?
It already is. Social media it just objectively is doing that, and is like crack through certain ages. So it just really, especially if you have adolescent girls, adolescent boys too, but adolescent girls just do not have them on social media. And how much social media is actually great for people. Like how much of it is fantastic. Well, every now and then it's awesome. Like if you have a small circle and you're seeing your family and you're engaging, great. But if you're just stuck here swiping, like, and just getting these little dopamine hits and just, the new thing is queued up just in time for you to not close this out, just not to force close the app and move on. But you're just being hit over and over and over again. Like, what on earth is that doing to your mind? What's it doing to your attention and so on? So I don't know. I've played with different ways. I've left my phone at home. I've done things like that, but I'm thinking I just need a red phone on my desk that my wife can call, and I'm just going to start disappearing. Yeah. And I've done versions of that already, but I'm going to start like increasing that.
So this all started because I asked you, where's entertainment going in our country? And you're saying the black bill is our brains are decaying. Yeah. I don't know if that's quite an answer to where's entertainment going, but it's just
the industry right now was the bleakest. So I had a couple meetings in LA Friday, and the reports from very successful people, and it's the bleakest it's ever been. So for the studios, in terms of their own production, their own acquisition, their own pipelines are all grinding slower and slower and slower because people are just atrophying to the point where they're
not even watching or renting anything. They're just scrolling.
Yeah. Oof. And so plenty of people have stuff going in the background, but they'll sit down and they're not watching the news. They're not engaging with the world around them. They have a show on and they might pay attention to it. But if the show is big, it's because social media made them feel left out of that particular show, and they need to actually like catch up. And a lot of people will be playing it and they're just there. They don't have hours in the day left over after all the social media consumption.
Oof.
And it's pretty insane. And the fact that AI is now generating so much of that social media and can really kind of target your habits and target your hooks, the things that bring you in. It's a pretty, we're right to that part where the toilet water like starts to really accelerate. So first it was just going around, and then we're down here right now. So it's just like, now at the same time, this is an enormous opportunity. So it's an enormous opportunity for good creators. It's an enormous opportunity for families who are relatively unplugged, or just for families, for people who have, who have actual kids, who have more than replaced themselves, who have enough children to, to multiply as opposed to just continue to diminish population wise. So we're doing this while the population's crashing. We're doing this at such a weird moment, but this empire is like bleeding out, limping towards its own grave. And it's really going down hard. But I've said it before, it's like composting empires. It's like, it's really, really rich soil.
Right.
And so I look at this, and Aaron Wrench was with me, my production partner, and we were down in LA this last week. And both of us sat through some pretty grim meetings, and both of us left just saying like, wow, this is an enormous opportunity. Like this is a big, big opportunity. to try to put stuff out into the world that will stand out more than ever before. Like the crowd is thinning, the herd is thinning.
Just by not being a social media mind.
Yeah. By trying to make real food for real people.
Yeah.
Because no matter what happens to everybody, to the population, we're still not digital. Like we are, in fact, like incarnate creatures in an incarnational world. And there still is a chance to reach people and resonate at a profound level. And to raise your kids that way, and to raise your kids to consume and create that way, and their friends and their friends' friends. And
Speaking of
and
superheroes,
so
that's a way to almost create a seemingly superhero ability with not being hooked on social media by the time you hit college.
Yeah, if you can get through adolescence without your teen years having been shaped by social media, you will be superhuman very shortly. So do that.
And that's the call to action at the end of our episode.
Yeah, perfect. Lay your life down. Your heartbeats cannot be hoarded. Your reservoir of breaths is draining away. You have hands, blister them while you can. You have bones, make them strain. They can carry nothing in the grave. You have lungs, let them spill with laughter. With an average life expectancy of 78.2 years in the U.S., subtracting 8 hours a day for sleep, I have around 250,000 conscious hours remaining to me in which I could be smiling or scowling, rejoicing in my life, in this race, in this story, or moaning and complaining about my troubles. I can be giving my fingers, my back, my mind, my words, my breaths to my wife and my children and my neighbors, or I can grasp after the vapor and the vanity for myself, dragging my feet, afraid to die, and therefore afraid to live. And like Adam, I will still die in the end.